I think that this could be the key to overcoming what's causing us to overthink, ponder, and waste time on things that we can't control. And that is having the "it is what it is" attitude. Because no matter what anybody says to you, no matter what anybody does to you, it can't affect you, it can't hurt you, because it is what it is. Welcome back to the Mind Composition. My name is Brian Blair. I hope you guys are having a great week. I'm really excited about this episode. I just came back from a short trip to Arizona, Flagstaff, and met up with some cool friends over there and did some shooting. Awesome stuff. You can check out my work on Instagram and TikTok. I'll have some videos up pretty soon, and the photos are phenomenal. I'm really excited about the work that I did in Arizona with some very talented models, so stay tuned for that. But when I got back from Flagstaff, it was a great start of the week, and then it started to slump a lot, actually. Some of the things I couldn't control, but then it started to pick up back up again, and it was a great week. And today is Tuesday, or what feels like a Friday to me, but, it has been a great turnaround over the weekend, and everything's just looking great so far heading into this week, and I couldn't be more excited. But some of the things that went wrong earlier when I got back, I couldn't really control. And I got caught up in another overthinking realm and another pondering realm, and it just caused my mood to just sink to the bottom of the ocean. It's like you're under an overcast layer, you're trying to break through from it, but you're getting nowhere because you're stuck in this loophole. Your mind won't let you escape, until I'd started to remember that I developed this attitude called "it is what it is." When I was growing up younger, I used to always get wrapped up in what people told me, certain situations that I can't control, and it would just cause me to just fall into this rabbit hole of like, I can't do this, like I'm getting in my head again, it's causing me to have a bad mood, and I'm portraying that mood onto friends and family. Sometimes they'll be like, "What is wrong with you, Brian? Like, why aren't you yourself?" I'm like, "Man, I'm in my head." Well, start having the attitude of "it is what it is." Things that you can't control, you need to start learning to have that attitude. Because literally, no matter what anybody says to you, no matter what anybody does to you, they can't hurt you. It can't affect you. If it's out of your control, it is what it is. Oh well, your loss. Next, move on. And I started to develop that years ago, but I started to drift away from that, and I started to get wrapped up again in the emotional drama and the negative energies that I would see from other people, because energies transfer. Energies can go from one person to the next, and it really dampers your mood. So really having that attitude and kind of just staying true to your roots and yourself is going to allow you to power through that a lot better than getting wrapped up into something that you can't control. So I honestly feel like that might be the secret to some of the problems that I've been going through, some of the problems that you may be going through, is just learn to have the "it is what it is" attitude. Nobody can hurt you. Nobody can affect you. If it's out of your control, oh well, it is what it is. And it's kind of a dangerous attitude to have, to be honest with you. See, "it is what it is" gets tied up with another similar attitude. They're very similar, but they're very different. And it's the "I don't care" attitude. So "it is what it is," I feel like, comes from the mind. Your mind controls your emotions. And honestly, the wisest people on earth are the ones that allow their mind to control their emotions, not the other way around. Because emotions, they're erratic. They're bipolar. They change every second, in guys and in girls. And you can't rely on emotions to be a stable platform to rely on decision making or logical breakdowns or anything like that. You need to have some sort of control over that. So when I would get caught up in these overthinking spells, I would just fall deeper and deeper and deeper, and then I would act out on those emotions. And 9 times out of 10, they'd be on situations that I can't control. I do the best that I can to try and, influence it a different way, but in reality, it's out of my control. I can't do anything about it. Now, the "I don't care" attitude honestly comes from a cold heart. And I had a very, very cold heart for the past 2 years. Not now, but in the past 2 years, I've had a lot of coldness in my heart, in my emotions towards people. And a lot of people would ask, "Why are you like this? Why are you being so mean? Why are you just shutting everyone off? People are trying to help you." I'm like, no, I don't care. I don't care. See, the difference between "I don't care" and "it is what it is "I don't care" means you can control some things that you can control, but you don't care about them. You don't care enough to control that, so you just let it go. "Oh, I don't care. Yeah, this is gonna happen. Great, whatever." That's bad. That's bad. That leads you to some very bad situations. But "it is what it is" means, hey, you did the best that you could to influence something to go for the better, and still not getting anywhere, whether it's with a person or with work or a project or whatever, and you just keep getting backlash and you can't control it, hey, hands off. It is what it is. Next, move on. And those two attitudes get very confused among a lot of people. And unfortunately, what I've noticed is having the I don't care attitude is what a lot of people chase after, especially in relationships. A lot of girls chase the guys with the meh, I don't care, whatever. I'm like, why? Like, you're chasing somebody who acts out from their emotions. They don't care. You know, they're erratic. They don't try to do anything to better themselves. They just don't care. You know, but the people with the it is what it is attitude is more of like they're living their life the best that they can, and if something tries to affect them, it's like, it's a strong mindset. It's a very strong mindset, and I feel like a lot of people need to really start to develop that because it's going to help a lot when trying to overcome like some of the situations in your life. If you can't control something, there's no point in wasting time worrying about it, pondering about it. You're wasting every second of your day. Like, there's also another rule known as like the 5 by 5 rule. If it doesn't matter in 5 years, don't spend more than 5 minutes thinking about it. And personally, one of the most triggering things that would get me into my head would be like social status. Not so much social status, social acceptance, girls, and confidence in myself. See, to get to an it is what it is attitude, to live by that, you need to have enough confidence in yourself to hold your ground, to know your worth, to be like, yeah, their loss, you know, or maybe not so much their loss, but more of like, okay, fine, I did the best I can. They don't want to comply, or this person doesn't want to do that, or this project went south because of that. Oh well, I did the best I could. Next, no point in wasting time worrying about it and trying to change either the past or try and influence the future if you're just getting backlash from every direction. It's just not worth it. So having that attitude is beneficial and almost crucial in living a very happy life, because now that you have that attitude, now you've knocked out the worrying mostly. Everyone still has those bad days. Everyone still worries every now and then. But for the most part, you've knocked out stuff that you can't control. It's like a filter. Now you can, worry about things that actually matter, things that you can control, things that you can fix, right? But things that you can't, it is what it is. I know I keep saying it again, but it's just like you almost have to repeat something like this over and over again to just get it through your head and to almost train your brain. You have to rewire your brain to think that way. So when something comes up and you're like, oh, nope, not going to let it in because it can't hurt me. It can't affect me because I already did the best that I can. And if it's still trying to get to me, oh, well, you got to learn to have that gate, that gatekeeper needs to be strong, and it can't let in negative energy. This energy that's coming in from other people or just life in general, you got to have a really strong filter, a really strong gatekeeper, I guess you want to say, into your head. And you can't allow your emotions to overtake. See, it's almost like if your emotions start killing you from within inside. Your emotions start to take over because you've fallen into a loophole of overthinking. You've let the outside world get to you. It's like the analogy where you're sailing in a ship at sea. And yeah, the water may be rough. It may be tossing you around. You maybe have the worst storm out in the ocean, but guess what? You're not going to sink if the water doesn't get into your ship. The same thing in your life. You're not going to sink unless you don't let that negative energy get inside. So the second you start letting it take a toll on your life, on your emotions, on your actions, you're going to start to sink. And you're going to start falling deeper and deeper, and it's going to get harder to pull yourself out. So it's okay to be in the feels. It's okay, to worry and have those days where you might need to just disconnect from everything. But at the end of it, make sure that you come out with developing, or at least a better development of that attitude. It is what it is. Not the I don't care attitude, but hey, you know what? I did the best that I can. And so what? You know what? Oh, well. A lot of people go through so much torment and they do it unto themselves. And it's a tragedy when you see someone beat themselves up. It literally is a tragedy. It's bad enough to see if somebody is beaten by somebody else, not physically, but I mean like emotionally or whatever. If they're beaten by an opponent, I guess you want to put it that way. But it's horrifying to see someone that has beaten themselves. I've been a victim of that, and I guarantee you a lot of people listening to this or watching this have been a victim to that as well. Is you start to tear yourself down from the inside. Now, a lot of people say that can work to help build you back stronger, but you're only going to build back stronger if you have that energy to pick yourself back up and not stay in that victim hole. If you stay down there, if you keep beating yourself up and keep letting your emotions take over and you're acting impulsively, not thinking with the right head, basically, you're just going to keep digging yourself deeper and deeper, and it's going to get harder and harder to pull yourself out. So having that attitude of, I can grab onto what I can control, I can do the best that I can, okay? And anything else that's outside of my control, hey, you know what? It'll figure itself out. Think back to when a situation happened in your life. Something happened that you were so worried about. You don't know what was going to happen. It might have been life threatening. It could be financially threatening. It could be a job loss. It could be a boyfriend, girlfriend, school related. Anything that you were super worried about. Or think specifically of a situation that resolved itself. Something that you were so worried about, but it ended up resolving itself. Think back to how worried you were, right? But then think about how relieved you were when it finally resolved itself. Specifically think of something that you couldn't control and it resolved itself. So stop worrying about the things that you can't control. Most of the time, they'll end up resolving itself. Just always think back at that. Remember, history is like a pattern. Think back to a similar situation before. 9 times out of 10, it's going to usually repeat. I love how we can take certain situations in our life and just look back on them as memories. You ever get caught up in just looking back on certain things and they make you really happy or they make you really sad, or you just look at how it played out. You just kind of have the moment in your head replaying again and cherish that, but also look at the pattern of it. If it's a good one, hold on to it, keep it, obviously. If it's a bad one, maybe related to something that's currently happening in your life, and look at how the previous one played out. Now look at the current situation in your life and be like, okay, how could this play out? But then don't worry about it. Just be like, hey, hands off. And every time you catch yourself starting to worry about it, snap yourself out of it again. Hands off. It is what it is. Start repeating that in your head a lot, over and over again. Do it in the mirror. Every time you wake up, first, instead of going to the phone, which is I've actually done a habit recently for the past almost 60 days now, actually maybe 40, 45 days, where I'd wake up and I wouldn't immediately go to my phone. I wouldn't immediately go to social media. And that's probably 90% of the problem is social media. We get so caught up in everything that's happening politically or with friends or drama, waste of time stuff that doesn't even benefit us throughout our day, that we forget about the most important things in our life, and then we end up overthinking things that really don't even matter, that are out of our control. See the connection? See how that just went full circle? Start doing habits in your life that are going to minimize your loopholes. They're going to minimize your chances of falling into something or some loophole that's going to really ruin your mood. Be happy for the most part. So live every day waking up being grateful for what you have, okay? Go in the mirror and start talking positive to yourself. Start being more confident in yourself. Know who you are. Find your worth, okay? It's going to be easier for you to develop this attitude when you know who you are and you stand strong. Because if you're weary, and not really so confident, it's oh, well, maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. No, because if you know who you are, you're not going to have that worry. You're not going to worry about someone telling you something that you know yourself is not true. So get over it. It is what it is. Next, move on. And honestly, remember to just do some things that in your life that will help promote that more positive attitude. So, for instance, waking up in the morning, don't go directly to your phone. Go do something productive. Open a book. Go to the mirror. Go do some self-development. Go do something that's going to help you become a better version of you. Because it doesn't matter what anybody else is saying about you out there. If you know who you are, it's not going to affect you. And if you have that attitude, you know exactly what I was about to say. It is what it is. I've been living with my phone on airplane mode for most of the day. And it has helped me so much. It has helped me disconnect from everybody. Now, here's the thing. Don't do the mistake that I did. When I first started going on airplane mode, a lot of people thought I blocked them. Contact your close friends, your close circles, and be like, hey, this is a new thing that I'm going to do. My phone's going to be on airplane mode. If you need to get a hold of me, figure out something if you need to get a hold of them in an emergency. But try disconnecting, or put on DND. I heard that one works too. Do not disturb, where the notifications are silenced. Personally, I like airplane mode because nobody can call me, nobody can get through to me. It keeps me off the phone. It disconnects me from everything from the internet. I love it, honestly. So find something that works for you that's going to help you minimize your social media time. Because first of all, to develop strong attitudes like these are life-changing attitudes, you need to cut out certain things that are hindering that growth. It is what it is attitude is a self-growth. And it's only going to work when you cut out a lot of the negative stuff. You got to make room for it, okay? And you got to hold it high, and you got to stand your ground with it. And it's going to apply to almost everything in your life. Everything. If a project goes south and you did the best you could, like for instance, I had a wedding that I was supposed to shoot, and somehow things didn't work. I was so looking forward to it. I love shooting wedding videos. Wedding videos are amazing. It's my favorite thing to do. Wedding photos are okay, but wedding videos are like, I can get so creative. I love the golden hour lighting. Everybody is dressed up. It's like a movie. I feel like I'm shooting a movie, and it's beautiful. And I was so looking forward to this wedding, but then last minute the clients called me and were like, we can't afford, what to do the photos and the video, so we're gonna have to cut out the video. And I was only hired to do the video. They had a separate photographer, so I couldn't even shoot the wedding or go to the wedding at all. And I was like, you know what? If for 5 minutes I was like kind of bummed out. I was like, damn, I really wanted to do this, but I just remembered, hey, I gave them everything I could. I showed them my portfolio. They loved it. I didn't do anything wrong. It's just a situation I couldn't control. I can't control their finances. It is what it is. Situations where maybe you could be talking to somebody, you could be talking to a guy or a girl, and maybe things aren't going as well as you thought. And you're just in your head about it. You're overthinking like, oh, are they talking to somebody else? Did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? No, stop. Don't go down that rabbit hole. If you know who you are, all right, and if you're strong and confident to who you are as a person, that's not going to affect you. You can't control somebody else's actions. You can't control their emotions. It is what it is. Oh, well, you know what? A shame, but move on. Next. Something goes wrong at work. You did the best you could, but still you're getting backlash from coworkers. They're spreading rumors about you, drama. You did the best you could, and people know that you're doing the best you could, but more importantly, you know you're doing the best that you can. And people are still throwing backlash at you. Hey, it is what it is. You know the truth. You make it apparent to the people that matter, not people that spread drama. So having this attitude really affects the outcomes in your life in certain situations that you can't control. And I honestly feel like that's the secret to overcoming most of the overthinking and the pondering and the waste of time that we find ourselves in when we're lying in bed at late hours at night thinking about things that we can't control, beating ourselves up because someone said something to us that hurt our feelings. So, what's it going to be? Are you going to keep going down the rabbit hole? Or are you going to turn around today and you're going to start growing yourself into who you're supposed to be and start developing an attitude of it is what it is? Do the best you can, stay woke, and find yourself and be confident in who you are. And honestly, there's nothing more I can really say on that topic. It is what it is. I love saying it. It's a beautiful statement. It's a very powerful and strong statement. And if you ever meet anybody that has an attitude like that, watch out. Watch out. Because somebody that has that type of attitude is very dangerous. You can't do anything to hurt them. You can't do anything to affect them. You're either there alongside with them or you're far apart. There's no in the middle. So, figure it out. I hope you guys are making wise choices on your self-growth journeys. And trust me, when I used to overthink a lot, and I still do. I'm not saying I'm perfect over here. We still fall in, to these loopholes. But start getting in the habit of catching yourself so that way you don't have to always waste more time worrying about stuff that you can't control. It'll allow you to be a lot happier, and it'll allow you to go through life with a more positive attitude, and it'll help you be more confident. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap up this episode. I know it was short, but it was very powerful, and it really needed to be shared. And I hope it helps you guys throughout your week, and start next week off with this it is what it is attitude. Baby steps, one step at a time. Start doing things that are going to benefit you. Remember, I have podcasts releasing every single Friday. The audios are available on Apple Music and Spotify. I'm going to get them on SoundCloud relatively soon, so stay tuned for that. And the video versions are available on YouTube and Instagram TV. stay woke, stay positive, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode.